In this video, I'm going to show you how I remove the patch and sew it on to the sleeve on a soldier's uniform. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about a sharp razor. That's really important. This razor has to be sharp so you don't cut your fabric. You only want to cut your threads. So to do this, you're going to make yourself a little opening, and then you're going to slide the razor close to the surface of the patch, so it's going to be up towards the ceiling, and this way you're going to catch the threads and you're going to stay away from your fabric and not put holes in the fabric that you're working with. Obviously we don't want to end up having to repair a hole that we created. So take your time, go around the circle. This is not a circle, but it's a it's a patch with a lot of different shapes and edges. So I'm taking my time, and it took me a good 5 minutes to go around this, and I'm showing you how I did it almost in real time. I had to cut some of it out, otherwise it would may be too boring for you. But I end up taking both sides off. I'm all the way to the end and get to the corner, and some of the threads loosen up enough so that you can just lift it off, but you have to work with what you have and you have to go really slow. So this came off, and now I'm at the end, and I'm just getting those last few pieces off, and then we'll be good to go to the sewing machine and start pinning our patch down in place. Always remember to remove the loose threads to make your project look the best that it can be. That's what I'm doing here. So now we're pinning the patch. I put my hand inside the sleeve and make sure that I do not have any wrinkles on the inside or the outside, and make sure my patch is completely flat because I'm going to be moving this all around underneath of the machine. So getting the place that you want to sew under the machine is also a challenge. You really only have the armhole to work with. So you have to get in there, and you have to make sure that before that needle goes into that patch, into that fabric, you have smooth surfaces underneath the patch and above the patch. And this takes a lot of maneuvering, and you can see here that I'm going back and forth, and it looks pretty tedious because it is tedious, and I wanted to show you really how tedious it is, but it also can be done. So I'll show you at the end how it looks, and I hope that if you get something out of this, then you will like and subscribe to my videos because I'm always doing different things. So here we go with the first stitch going in. Have to lift the presser foot up and move the fabric. Again, I keep repeating it, but I can't stress enough how important it is to make sure your fabric underneath is nice and smooth. You have to feel with your hands in that little armhole space, and then make sure that your needle is only sewing to a smooth surface between the patch, the fabric, and the back. So we're going to keep going with this, and we're going to just take our time as we do this, checking, rechecking, checking, rechecking, and knowing that when we do that, we're going to come out with the work that is going to be something that you're going to be proud of. And there's a curve on the bottom of this patch, so I have to make sure that I'm moving the fabric and the machine, the path that it needs to go, so that it catches the patch on that curve. And I have to be mindful too not to sew on the yellow part, only on the black part. So there's a lot of things going on here with sewing this patch down, between smoothing the fabric, smoothing the patch, turning, and lifting your presser foot up so that you don't put tension on your needle, because then your needle can break in the middle of all of this, and then you have to rethread, and that's not fun either. So take your time. And eventually you will get back to where you started from, and you'll be just about done. Just make sure that you backstitch. And here, I thought I was done when I got to the point, but I looked at the thread and I knew that I wasn't done. I needed to recheck, so I just lifted up the patch a little bit here, and making sure that I'm not going to leave any openings for this patch, because I want this to be done, and I do not want to have to wrestle this back underneath of the needle in the sewing machine. So I'm checking myself, and then I'm trying to come out the same way that I came underneath the presser foot, because this is a polyester suit, and I do not want my needle to catch up on any part of the suit and make any snags on this suit. So now that that part is done, I will let you have a peek at what we did inside, how it looks inside, and you'll see inside is nice and flat. There's no puckers, which I was so relieved to find. I mean, I was holding my breath sometime as I was sewing this, because it's that tedious. But it can be done, and if you like a challenge, give it a try, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this, and the only way to be sure is to give it a try, and that's what I encourage you to do. And let me show you what it looks like on the outside, and it looks just as good on the outside as it does on the inside. So thanks for hanging in there with me and watching till the end. I appreciate it. And again, give me a thumbs up if you feel that I should have a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next one.